What's up, guys? LQ here with the LQ review. Out getting a little walk in. I'm coaching cross country and I try to run with the kids as much as I can. And I find that if I get a walk in early in the day, the run with the kids goes a little bit better. So it's been about a week since I've seen Spider-Man Brand New Day. And well, I really sat on it for a while before I talked about it. And that was because I liked it so much that I was afraid of having some recency bias if I talked about it on this platform. And I didn't want to be one of those people that was like, it was the best Spider-Man movie ever. And then a week later be like, it was top 3. I don't want to do that. So I wanted to just sit on it. And, I'm not monetized. I don't make any money off this channel. So I'm not in any rush necessarily to get my reviews out. Maybe I should be. And maybe if I was a little more rushed to get reviews out, I would be monetized eventually. But I'm really not. So I intentionally sat on it for a bit. And I gotta tell you guys, a week later, man, I love this movie. I loved this movie. It was, think about, now I grew up reading comics. I still read comics, I still have a comic book subscription, a pull list. And this movie reminded me of, a comic book run that was not one of the big crossovers, This reminded me of one of those runs, one of those storylines that took place over 6, 7, 8 episodes, somewhere around, or 6, 7, or 8 issues. Took place between a major crossover while you had a single creative team working on a book. And this just reminded me of one of those storylines that take place when you got a single creative team working on a book between major crossovers. That's what this reminded me of. And that might sound like a criticism, but it wasn't. It isn't. It's not a criticism of this. This is a compliment. It felt like I was reading a comic book story that meant something. It was a comic book story that meant something, that had stakes for the character moving forward. While at the same time, it wasn't the big crossover event. Now, there was some crossover here for sure. We had the Hulk, we had Yelena, we had Punisher. We had lots of characters in this lived-in world show up, but it wasn't featuring those characters. This is very much a Spider-Man story that happened to have some characters in this lived-in world show up. So I loved it. I love this movie. I still don't know if it's my favorite Spider-Man movie. I really like Spider-Man 2 a lot. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2. And I'm probably one of the biggest champions of Spider-Man Homecoming you'll ever see. I love Spider-Man Homecoming. And Spider-Man Homecoming is a movie that, before Spider-Man Brand New Day, I would have gone Spider-Man 2. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2 is number 1. And number 2, Spider-Man Homecoming. I'm not quite sure what the ranking is going to be now. Brand New Day is either 2 or 3. I still put Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2 as number 1. Okay, let's talk about some of the things I loved in this movie. I loved just Tom Holland's performance. This was the best performance he ever gave. He's ever given in any role, let alone Spider-Man, any role. This is his best performance. He did a great job of making you feel the isolation and the pain and the loneliness of Peter Parker. Tom Holland nailed this. There was a scene on a rooftop when he was with MJ. And through a series of events that I won't get into here, MJ says some very cruel things to him. And he breaks down. And for me, that was one of the best acted moments in the MCU period. Zendaya did a great job here. You know, I've always been a fan of Zendaya, and she did fine here. What really surprised me with Zendaya was the chemistry she had with Jon Bernthal's Punisher. Thought that was really strong, and I would have never guessed that. Probably my favorite, or probably my biggest surprise moment was the Punisher, though. This was my favorite iteration of Jon Bernthal's Punisher. If you would have told me that my favorite iteration of Jon Bernthal's Punisher would have come in a PG-13 movie, I would have said I thought you were crazy. But it was. And part of that is because I feel like every time Jon Bernthal has appeared as Punisher, we've been married to telling his origin story. And this felt like it was the first time that we saw Jon Bernthal's Punisher on his mission. And not necessarily being married to the origin story, but him out punishing criminals. Thought that was great. So yeah, definitely my favorite iteration. The Hulk was fine. Very few, you know, I think maybe 2 appearances in the movie. One is Bruce Banner, the other one is the Hulk. So it was great, you know. I love the fact that they brought back Rage Hulk in this. Got rid of Professor Hulk. I hope Professor Hulk is gone forever. I really do. You know, very limited appearance. But seeing Spider-Man and Punisher take on the Hulk, yeah, awesome. Sadie Sink's character was fine. I'm not going to necessarily say who she plays here, even though everybody knows. But her character was fine. There were some questionable decisions made as far as how that character behaves that might make it difficult for audiences to really connect with this character in the future. Maybe not, you know, maybe not. Maybe it'll be, maybe she'll be very popular. But I definitely have some concerns about how she was portrayed in this movie. Let's see here. The Scorpion was kind of wasted. Didn't think they really did much with him at all. The Hand was kind of wasted also. I kind of felt like, they didn't have to have the Hand in this. And since they did have the Hand in this, I thought they had a great chance to tie it back to the Defenders or Daredevil or something like that. And they just didn't do any of that at all. The Hand was just there. The Hand was there so we could have a climactic battle sequence between Peter and some ninjas. That's why they were there. The Inhibitor, yeah, not a big fan of it. I wasn't a fan of the Inhibitor in the X-Men movies. I'm still not a fan of the Inhibitor. Had a bug jump on me. Still not a fan of the Inhibitor, and I hope that this is something that they just kind of let it be and kind of move on from it. The post-credit scene was terrible. It was a waste, and it was actually kind of an insult to anybody who sat through the credits just to get a post-credit scene. It was terrible. So, yeah, the Inhibitor aside, the post-credit scene aside, some questionable character decisions all aside, this was a great Spider-Man movie. This was great. I loved it. Like I said, it's probably my number 2 or 3 Spider-Man movies of all time. Live action anyways. And yeah, I'm going to be going to see this again. Great performances, great action, some great swinging scenes. Just overall, just a really great movie. So, you know, I think it's too soon to say the MCU is back, even though I loved Deadpool and Wolverine. Thought Thunderbolts was great. Thought Fantastic Four was okay. So maybe the MCU is back, right? Maybe it is back. All right, guys. What do you think of Spider-Man Brand New Day? Let me know in the comments below. While you're down there commenting, make sure you subscribe to my channel. And until next time, we'll see you guys later.